Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we've got something slightly different, so please like and subscribe and let's get into it. So today we are doing a review, a Wargamers review of the new Napoleon film. So I think we all know who this lady is, being marched towards the well, I would say the gallows, but it's the guillotine. Yeah, let them eat cake, she says. Didn't end quite so well. Here we go. Now this would make a good little battle, I think, for us as Wargamers. The crushing of the royalists. So that's one battle for us to do. Probably with 28mm. Kind of a skirmish, few artillery pieces. 30 to 50 sort of peasant types. I think this is the Siege of Toulouse, where Napoleon did actually lead and got stabbed through the leg by a British soldier. I'm not sure if it was with a bayonet or a sword or a halberd, but yeah, he got stabbed leading his troops. Battle of the Pyramids. Napoleon didn't actually fire on them. And he didn't actually lead cavalry charges because he was pretty bad as a horse rider by most accounts. Now there are quite a few different interactions and stuff throughout the sort of revolutionary period where there would be skirmish, I would say, games that we could do. That looks like the Battle of Waterloo. So the Battle of Waterloo, Quatre Bras, Ligny would be a good little scenario, which most of us have done or wish to do at some point in our lives. But overall the film seems to be pretty good. Seems to be covering his entire life, which is cool. The details seem to be pretty accurate of the uniforms as well. So, pretty impressed so far. I think this must be Austerlitz. Yes, definitely Austerlitz. Now, I'm not sure that Napoleon had his artillery pieces hidden like that. As far as I'm aware, when the Austrians and Russians gave way and started to flee, it was at that stage. And the artillery pieces it was at that stage that the artillery just fired on them as they were fleeing, and those troops that did run across the ice got fired upon. There's a lot of accounts of thousands and thousands of men dying. I don't know how accurate or wrong they are, but I've heard probably it was more like hundreds rather than thousands did actually die. It's just the story. Anyway, I'm just about to move position, so I'll be back in a moment. But overall, looks like the video is the trailer is good, and looks like the film's going to be pretty cool. All of the uniforms look pretty accurate, and nothing noticeable jumping out, so I'm excited. Taking away from it from the wargaming perspective, as I said, the Royalist uprising, that could make a pretty cool sort of skirmish game, or even up to sort of company sort of level within the city, so that would be something which would be quite interesting to do. The siege of, I think it's the Siege of Toulouse, anyway, that would be a good interesting one, if you're interested in sieges with naval forces around to try and blow you back. Now, when it comes to the Egypt campaign, I do hope very much, not so much from the wargaming perspective, but from the filming, that if you remember when they did Alexander and they did the Battle of Gaugamela, and it started off with the aerial view, like the hawk was flying over, and you could see all the units moving down below. I do hope they replicate that, because at the Battle of the Pyramids, Napoleon formed his army into 5 divisional squares. Now, a square is usually a regiment / battalion. These were entire brigades on each side. So they were enormous, 5 of them. And then the Mamluks charged and didn't really get very far. But if you could do that from an aerial view looking down, that would look spectacular, rather than like so many films do, where they zoom in too much. No, if you're doing a big battle, you need to zoom out and only zoom in to see your characters. The rest of it needs to be long shot. So hopefully they'll do that. But that would be a very, very fun and interesting war game to do the Battle of the Pyramids. Also should be noted that in the video he's firing on the pyramids, as I said, that didn't happen. The actual battlefield itself, if I'm accurate, it was either it was about 5 miles away. So they could see the pyramids in the distance, but they weren't actually in the battle. So, interesting. Definitely be a fun one to fight. Austerlitz. There's been quite a few battle reports which you can find online, but again, that would be a fun one. Whether you want to have Napoleon with his artillery pieces concealed until the last moment, you could do. Throw a curved ball at the Austro-Russian forces. Could be an interesting way of doing it. Yeah, so that would be quite fun. But overall, I think there's a lot of scope there for us to do things. And now, I've been thinking, a lot of the time you hear this sort of, I'm not going to say complaint, but the discussion of we need to get more younger people in, we need to get more people playing war games. Put in your preferred request there, or phrasing of it. But I feel that whenever there's a film like this, an epic that comes out, it is intrinsic? It's on us as war gamers to actually build on that. If people are starting to watch it, we need to then start doing more painting tutorials, more battle reports. We need to start going along to the local, I don't know, flea markets, the local markets, whatever they are, and do stands, do games, do play tests. Get the people involved. If they've gone to see the film and then the next weekend they go to the market, and there you are, the local club, doing a war game, which they don't have to pay for, they can just play. That's what we've got to do. We've got to get people into it. So let's use these films and these TV series and let's create stuff that we can then put out to the public. That might be one way that we can actually build more numbers. Anyway, let me know what you think below in the comments. I think it's going to be a great film. Can't wait for it to come out. And till next time, guys, see you later. Keep wargaming.